the stand at 30,000 feet. On a crisp Chicago morning, the O'Hare International Airport buzzed with the usual chaos of travelers. Among them, 8-year-old Marcus Thompson clutched his superhero backpack, his sharp eyes scanning the crowd. Beside him, his mother, Dr. Evelyn Thompson, a renowned cardiologist, checked her phone for updates on her upcoming lecture in Boston. They were headed to a medical conference, but what unfolded on Flight 742 would become a story that gripped the nation. Marcus wasn't your average third grader. While other kids collected trading cards, he devoured law books, a passion sparked by his late grandfather, a civil rights attorney. His prized possession, a worn copy of federal transportation law, was tucked inside his bag. Evelyn, poised and professional, had faced subtle discrimination her whole career. She tried to shield Marcus from it, but his keen mind noticed everything. As they approached the first-class check-in, a clerk glanced up, her smile faltering. "Economy is that way," she said, pointing to a crowded line. Evelyn's voice was calm but firm. "We're first class." The clerk's eyes widened, her fingers lingering over Evelyn's ID. Marcus noted the white family ahead hadn't faced such scrutiny. His grandfather's words echoed, "Document the pattern." One incident is chance, a pattern is intent. At security, Evelyn was randomly selected for a pat-down. Marcus watched as white businessmen in suits breezed through. His small hands tightened around his bag. By the time they reached the gate, the stares from other passengers, mostly white, mostly male, felt like a weight. A man in a tailored suit, later identified as Edward Grayson, a senior airline executive, muttered into his phone about standards, his eyes fixed on them. Boarding first class, Evelyn and Marcus settled into seats 2A and 2B. A flight attendant, Karen Walsh, approached. "Can I see your boarding passes again?" she asked, her tone clipped. Evelyn complied, her jaw tight. Marcus noticed Karen didn't ask the same of others. When Grayson boarded, his presence filled the cabin. "There's a mistake," he announced, glaring at their seats. "I always get 2A. Karen rushed over. "Mr. Grayson, you're in 3C today." His face reddened. "Unacceptable. These seats are for platinum members." Evelyn's voice cut through. "We paid for these seats. They're ours." Grayson's eyes narrowed. "I fly this route weekly. I don't recognize you as regulars." The implication hung heavy. "You don't belong here." The cabin grew tense. Passengers shifted, some pretending not to notice, others watching openly. Grayson pressed on, accidentally spilling water on Evelyn's sleeve as he stowed his bag. "Some people aren't used to first class," he said with a smirk. Marcus's voice piped up, clear and steady. "My mom's a heart surgeon. She flies first class all the time." Grayson's condescension was palpable. How inspiring. If only everyone knew their place. Marcus's mind raced, cataloging every slight. His grandfather had taught him, words can demean without breaking laws. Document them. The tension simmered as the safety demonstration began, but Grayson wasn't done. He summoned Karen repeatedly, complaining about certain passengers, making him uncomfortable. He suggested they move to economy. Evelyn's patience frayed. "We're staying in our seats." Grayson leaned forward, his voice icy. "Do you know who I am?" "Edward Grayson, VP of Customer Experience. I know our policies on disruptive passengers." The threat was clear. A flight attendant, Lisa Nguyen, paused nearby, discreetly recording on her phone. Marcus caught her eye, sensing an ally. The situation escalated when Captain Daniel Harris appeared. "Is there a problem?" Grayson seized the moment. "These passengers are causing a disturbance." Evelyn's voice shook with restraint. "We've done nothing but sit in our paid seats." The captain hesitated, then suggested, "We have economy seats available. It might be more comfortable for your son." Marcus's heart sank. "Move to economy? After paying for first class?" Grayson smirked. "If they're uncooperative, we can remove them." The captain signaled Karen to call security. Whispers rippled through the cabin. A passenger, Professor Charles Larson, a constitutional law expert, spoke up. "This looks like differential treatment. It's legally problematic." Marcus's fear turned to resolve. As two security officers boarded, he pulled out his grandfather's law book. His small voice cut through the silence. "What's happening here is illegal under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act." The officers froze, stunned. Grayson laughed. "This isn't a game, kid." "It's not a game," Marcus replied, flipping to a bookmarked page. Under 49 U.S.C. Section 41712, airlines can't discriminate based on race. And 14 CFR Part 259 prohibits unfair practices. The cabin went silent. Even Grayson faltered. Marcus pressed on, citing a 2018 case, Meridian Airlines v. Johnson, where selective policy enforcement was ruled discriminatory. Professor Larson nodded. The boy's right. This could violate federal law. Lisa stepped forward, holding up her phone. I've recorded everything. Their treatment was different from others. Security Officer James Carter, a black man, turned to the captain. What's the disturbance? They have valid tickets. Grayson sputtered, but the tide had turned. Passengers were recording, their phones capturing every word. The captain, sensing a PR disaster, relented. No one's being removed. Mr. Grayson, we'll discuss this in Boston. Grayson's face flushed with fury. You've made a mistake, kid, he hissed. Marcus met his gaze. No, sir. You did, assuming we didn't know our rights. As the plane took off, the cabin buzzed. Passengers shared videos, and Little Advocate began trending. Marcus, unaware, researched more laws on his tablet, preparing for Grayson's next move. In economy, a teen girl approached. You're the kid who quoted laws. My mom's a lawyer, she says you're amazing. Grayson snapped. Back to your seat. Marcus calmly noted FAA rules allowed cabin movement when seat belts were off. Grayson's agitation grew as he realized the videos were spreading. He demanded Karen stop passengers from recording, but Lisa intervened, guiding her to the cockpit. By cruising altitude, the airline's headquarters was in crisis mode. Videos had millions of views. When Grayson's phone buzzed with a message, his expression darkened. He retreated to the galley, avoiding Marcus's gaze. The mood shifted. Passengers approached Marcus, offering praise. A lawyer said, I've practiced for decades and couldn't cite those laws so well. Another asked, where'd you learn this? Marcus held up his book. My grandpa. He said knowing your rights is power. In Boston, as the plane landed, Captain Harris announced Grayson would deplane separately. Cheers erupted. At the gate, airline staff escorted Marcus and Evelyn to a private lounge. There, CEO Margaret Ellison apologized. This was a failure of our values. We want to discuss real changes. Evelyn was skeptical. This happens too often to people like us. Marcus spoke up. Free flights are nice, but what matters is making sure others aren't treated this way. Margaret nodded. We're revising training and policies. And, Marcus, we'd like you to consult on our anti-discrimination materials. Evelyn smiled proudly. They left with commitments for systemic reforms. The story exploded. By morning, Marcus's face was on every news channel, dubbed the Little Advocate. His videos racked up 20 million views. His school principal emailed, asking him to speak to students. A publisher offered a book deal for A Kid's Guide to Legal Rights. At Evelyn's conference, colleagues who once dismissed her now sought her out, though some fixated on Marcus's fame. Marcus started a YouTube channel, Rights for Kids, explaining laws in simple terms. It gained 1 million subscribers, with teachers using it in classrooms. The airline implemented Marcus's rule, mandating reviews of seating disputes. Grayson was quietly let go. 6 months later, Marcus testified before Congress, proposing stronger passenger protections. His clear, compelling testimony earned praise from lawmakers. Evelyn founded the Thompson Justice Fund, using settlement money to teach kids their rights. Marcus co-wrote The Little Advocate's Guide to Rights, dedicated to his grandfather. At its launch, Captain Harris attended, apologizing for his role and thanking Marcus for opening his eyes. A year later, boarding a flight home, Marcus felt nervous. But the gate agent greeted them warmly. Lisa, now a trainer, worked their flight. Your story changed our company, she said. As the plane soared, Marcus jotted ideas for his next video, knowing his grandfather was right. Even the smallest voice could change the world. What do you think? Have you ever witnessed injustice or discrimination and wished you could speak up? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe knowledge can combat unfairness, or does it take more? Take a stand and let us know your perspective on fighting injustice in everyday life.